Hitting hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta in the search browser. Find our page, hit the subscribe button. We are free and available to download too on all of your favorite podcast platforms, which includes Spotify, Odyssey. Download us for free today. And of course, at JMCH316 is where you can follow me on my personal Twitter page. Obviously coming into this season for the Atlanta Falcons, the number one stat that has to change. Before we can talk about what direction the franchise is going, how are we going to get this, what are we going to do here, when can we compete again, win the division, blah, 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 okay? In the NFL, you've got to get home. You have to get home in the NFL. You can't be a good defense in the NFL and not sack the quarterback. And we've talked about the fact that the Saints last year picked up 46 sacks. Now think about that. The Falcons were at 18. They were at 46. Now, here's the good news, I guess, relative speaking, right? The Saints did give up last year 37 sacks. Winston himself took 11 sacks in the 7 games that he started. Now, that's not a terrible number because that comes out to about, 27 sacks over the course of a 17-game season, that's a pretty good number. Obviously, there's changes on the offensive line for the New Orleans Saints. Teron Armstead is gone. He's one of the best offensive linemen in the league. Certainly, you look in the division, there probably aren't 2 guys better than Teron Armstead. And you look at some of the changes, whether it's Tampa Bay's offensive line, the Saints' offensive line, and obviously the Falcons have put draft capital into getting better at sacking the quarterback. Again, this is another thing that Dean Pease talked about. Number 1, we have to sack the quarterback more. 2 is we have to be able to, cover one-on-one on the outside. Those are all things that they have to do. 3, get off the field on 3rd down, right? That's the hallmarks of a successful defense. I know Ogundeji had a nice camp and did some good things in this offseason, okay? I want to see Ebiketie start. And maybe this is just the rookie needs a couple of weeks to get his feet wet and play in the NFL because he's going to play plenty on Sunday. So it's not like Ebiketie's not going to play some. But first down, first series of an NFL game, I want 47 on the field. And we have to figure out how to get home. And I think that there is definite opportunity. Last year the Falcons only picked up 2 sacks in the 2 games against the New Orleans Saints. But again, with changing their offensive line, we've added personnel on our side. I think that there is opportunity. And if you want to tell me that the Falcons defense is going to head in the right direction, you won't have to look any further than where are we at sack-wise. Again, we just talked about in a couple segments ago. The Bills got 7 sacks last night on Matt Stafford. 7. And you can tell me about what Winston is or isn't, how mobile he is, or blah, 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 blah. I don't really care. You can sack Jameis Winston. Okay? It's not like he's Lamar Jackson and he's running out there for his life. Winston's a throw-first quarterback. Okay? He's not a guy trying to run out of the pocket or anything like that. But you have to find a way to get home. And we could talk about all the analytics, the sabermetrics, the metrosexual stats you can dive down deep into, right? But you can keep it very simple. Tell me if we got home and tell me did we get off the field on 3rd down. If you can tell me what those 2 things are, I can go to NFL.com and put team stats in, click on defense, look at downs, and I can see those 2 things. And I can determine very quickly who's who's not a good defense in the league. Now, again, do I think the Falcons are going to get 46 sacks like the Saints? No. But can the Falcons be a 30-sack team? It should happen. I think Lorenzo Carter, if he can pick up 6 or 8. If Ebiketie can pick up 6 or 8 sacks, maybe you get 4 or 5 out of Ogundeji. Maybe you get a few out of Grady Jarrett. You get a few here, you get a few there, right? You for this team, let's face it, they're not going to have probably one guy. Maybe they will. Maybe Ebiketie will be a guy who's a double-digit guy. But, they may not have just 2 guys on the outside that are combining for 20 sacks, which is what you want, right? Give me 2 outside guys, ends or outside linebackers that combine for 20 sacks, and I can start there. Because 40 is the magic number in the NFL. Go look at your top-tier defenses. Go look at your playoff teams. Almost everybody that's there is a 40-sack team. And the ones that weren't are like the Browns, who were 39 and 38. Like the teams that are either just in or just out of the playoffs were like 38, 39 over the last handful of years, right? That's the whole thing. And I think that there is opportunity with Winston back there at quarterback, with the changes on their offensive line, with our changes on our defensive line, that we can find a way to get home. And again, we talk about setting the tone, changing the culture, getting off to a good start. Sack the quarterback. In the NFL, if you can change down and distance, that's such a key for your defense. The playbook on 3rd and 3 or 4 is way different than your playbook on 3rd and 12. Or if you force a team into having to throw more, if your offense can get a lead and force a team to have to throw more, now you can pin your ears back and go get. That was one of the things about the Falcons, even in the Super Bowl year. If I can get big leads, I can make other teams have to throw the football more, and I can simplify my defensive head up field. Set the edge, head up field, and go get the quarterback, right? My friend Hugh Douglas always says, set the edge, right? You got to start with that. So, again, when I watch this game on Sunday with the Falcons and the Saints, my focus is going to be, I want to watch that line of scrimmage. I'm going to be lasered in. I'm not going to worry as much about wide receivers, unicorns, tight ends, quarterbacks, who's in, who's out. Hey, coach, how many games do you need to evaluate your backup quarterback? I'm not going to worry about any of those things. Tell me that we are better on our lines of scrimmage. That's where my focus is going to be. Watching our offensive line. Can they run block and open up some holes for our running game? Can they protect our quarterback when they do have to drop back and pass? Then can our defensive line get in the backfield, make some explosive plays? Because we know the Saints are going to run the football, all right? They ran it 71 times against us in the 2 games last year. 71 for over 300 yards. We know what they want to do with Kamara and those guys, right? They want to run the football, and then they'll throw off of that. It's not Drew Brees anymore back there, quarterback. They don't have Sean Payton to, huck it all around with the Hall of Fame quarterback. They want to run the football, and then they'll establish the pass, play action, and things like that with Jameis Winston. Well, when you get those opportunities, you got to get home. Falcons have to find a way. I'm hoping the Falcons, look, tell me that they got 2 sacks in this game on Sunday, and I'll be satisfied. I'll be happy as a clam. I don't care if they came early. I don't care if they came late. Tell me that we closed the deal, right? The famous saying from Glengarry Glen Ross, coffee is for closers. Tell me that we closed the deal. Whether that's, and again, I don't care. It's Ebiketie, it's Ogundeji, it's Lorenzo Carter, it's whatever. It's Michael Walker. I don't really care who comes up with it. But you won't be successful in the NFL defensively if you can't sack the quarterback. Can't make him stand up, look out his ear hole, and change up the down and distance in this league. Watch the lines of scrimmage on Sunday. That will tell you a lot about what direction the Falcons season is going to head. All right, thank you so much for making Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery your first listen every day. Make A to Z with Mark Zinno your second listen every day. Mark's talking all things Atlanta sports. He is free and available on our YouTube page at Locked On Sports Atlanta. Subscribe today. Also free to download, free and available all your favorite podcast platforms. Spotify, Odyssey, wherever you download yours, find us for free there today and leave us a 5-star review. Then follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. We'll recap everything on Monday. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you then. Jon Chuckery, hitting hard on Locked On Sports Atlanta.